Hey Tripod fam! We are so glad to be back with another episode. We want to start by saying thank you for all of the new follows on Instagram and for all the consistent words of encouragement and support and asking us like, I binge watched, when is the next episode? Here it is.
And our trolls too. I think they...
We have a couple of trolls.
You can't forget the trolls.
I like the trolls.
But do we have a lot?
We have enough.
We have enough.
that we noticed them.
Okay, thank you,
But
trolls.
thank you, trolls.
Yeah, thank you. All right, so on this episode of Me Bae and J, we are going to be talking about how our family dynamics have changed. So, if you want to know how me, Bae, and J navigated some very, very challenging family dynamics, stay tuned.
You can hide it, 'cause I feel you, never let you go. Boy, I know our love is strong, even when sunlight turns to stone.
So welcome back to Me Bae and J, and thank you for joining us. Before we get started, make sure you hit the subscribe button and turn on your notifications so you know when we upload new videos.
So if you've been following us for the last, year now?
Oh, it's been a year.
It's been a year.
Yes.
You know that our family is very seamless nowadays. Like all three families intertwined with the children and all of the aunts and uncles and everything. You wouldn't ever think that we went through some very, very challenging times in the past. So when we think about some of those family dynamics in the past, and this is after we had come out to family members, when we think about some of those times, they were quite disruptive for us as partners trying to be in a successful relationship. And there were definitely times that we maybe made some bad decisions, but at the end of the day, those bad decisions didn't define who we were, and we were able to work through them, and here we are now.
Yeah.
So I will say, I think it's no secret that it was my side of the family that really had the most difficult time, getting on board. So Jeff's family.
So my family was never going to express any kind of, unacceptance in our relationship. So it was pretty much smooth sailing from my end of things. And then from Heather's end of things.
Yeah. It was.
Yeah. Smooth.
I grew up in polygamy, but then also even the side of me that wasn't, the Catholic side, the side here in New Orleans, they were just accepting and loving. I think I was most concerned about my Catholic grandmother, and she lay in bed trying to, beat cancer, which she did. And so I had to give her this information because I wanted her to know that I had found my people. And she was very loving about it. She was like, well, I'm really glad that you found, something and somewhere where you feel loved, and that's what was important. So smooth sailing.
Yeah.
It was, there was little hiccups here and there to be talking about.
Yeah,
but
not major like some of the ones that.
Yes, that Letitia's going to tell us about right now.
I interrupted again. So my family is pretty big on both sides. They can be pretty traditional, kind of conservative. And I think myself as growing up as, I wanted to be this perfect daughter and niece and granddaughter. Those things were important to me. So when we did come out and it was all laid out on the table, we would find because we do a lot of family gatherings, like the whole family. We would just find that people would have ugly attitudes and, more or less tolerate Heather because they knew if they were really outwardly ugly that
it would be a problem.
Yeah, there would be a problem. So birthday parties could be difficult, family gatherings could be difficult because here we are sitting okay, I hope this person acts right. And you're just trying to go enjoy being with your family and, being with that energy as opposed to making sure that you're on guard in case anyone says anything. And so we dealt with that for, a year or...
Yeah, it was a long time. And it was long enough, I'll say that. And it's important to note that because we had been together for so long, they was just as much my family
Yeah.
Or I regarded them as just as much my family as your family, and I had those same fears and insecurities that Letitia experienced about their disapproval.
Yeah, because you were literally, 17 when you became a part of the family?
Exactly.
Yeah. So from 17 to like 30.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it was
exactly.
like a lot of years
Yeah.
that this was your family
Exactly,
as well. So before we really get into what that navigation looked like for us, Tripod fan, we have a question we want to know. Are you currently moving through awkward, uncomfortable family dynamics that's coming from your partner's family? Or have you already moved through it? And if you have already moved through it, please tell us how. We want to know. And we know our Tripod fam could also benefit from seeing how others have navigated it successfully or even unsuccessfully.
So the shift for our family dynamics to move from this really energy of just being tolerated because you have to, switched to being, you know what, this person is a part of the family. They are family just as Jeff is. Like, he's not blood, but he's a part of the family. And that really started with my mom. She went to one of her really good friends' son's wedding with his partner. And it was a good time, and she was very happy about it. That was a catalyst for her to say she could be happy for someone else who is enjoying their relationship, but she couldn't, a non-traditional relationship, but she couldn't be happy for her daughter who is in a non-traditional relationship. And so once that happened with my mother, then I think some of the other pieces kind of fell into place, and people could see that if she's going to treat her differently, then we all do need to treat her differently.
Yeah. I feel like others followed suit. I feel like when you kind of have this matriarch of the family and they don't accept something, or it's very apparent to the people that love them that this is an uncomfortable thing for them, then it also, by default, is uncomfortable for the people that love them. Yeah. And when your loyalty is to that person, the matriarch specifically, it's hard to get on board with anything that they haven't really gotten on board with. So I think that people followed suit.
Yeah, so one can say that she was the catalyst for the entire family getting on board. She was the first. She went first, and then people started to come around to it because she was brave enough to do that. So thank you, Paul. We appreciate you.
Thanks, Mom.
We're gonna drop them grandkids off by you too.
Oh my gosh, we're cutting it.
So when I think about a really, really pivotal moment where it was clear that Heather is a part of the family, was actually this past Mardi Gras for 2022. Yep. For the Endymion Parade. So when it's parading time for us, we have our food, our drink. We have we are there organized because you're there all day.
Right.
So my mom is working at a new place that's on the parade route, so it's perfect. So we get there, and we don't know her coworkers, and she's introducing everybody, and she introduces Heather as her daughter-in-law. She had never done that before, and to hear that, to hear that, it was special for me because I know how my mother is, and she has 2 daughters. So to tell someone that she has a daughter-in-law, it means like, oh, your daughter's in a non-traditional relationship. Yeah. So that was really special, and she did it several times.
Yes.
Yeah.
That day, like, this is my daughter-in-law.
And consistently at the most recent birthday party, I brought my tissue because I'm like,
She's so dramatic.
It's so dramatic.
Okay, hold on. Okay, let me just fight.
And so now, like, sorry, you need to.
I'll definitely keep this in there.
Yes, stop it. This is
Heather is not an emotional person like that, so it's a rarity to see.
Except she is, like, for commercials and stories.
Right,
and
it's not emotional. It's, what's the other word?
Empathetic.
Empathetic.
So now with Heather and my mom, like they actually have a very good relationship. It's, you know, I think of another example. Just this past weekend, it was my mom's 60th birthday. My sister and I are trying to plan these different parties for her. And, you know, Heather and Jeff, they always doing something. So at first we were going to have Heather make potato salad. And I was like, nope, we got enough food.
Yeah.
Don't you worry about no potato salad. Well, then my mom sees her on Friday and was like, well, I want some potato salad.
Add that back to the menu.
Right. So
I
I was like, well, I was trying to get Heather not to do that because she's always doing stuff. But sure enough, we had potato salad on Saturday, no matter if it took us, not sure how many hours.
Couple
to
extra.
get it done.
It got done. We have potato salad.
And another like important example happened this Mardi Gras again was, so during Mardi Gras season, there are Mardi Gras balls where you dress up all formal, and you go to a dance basically. And the bunch ball is one of, I don't know if it's the oldest, I'm not really sure the history of it, but my family participates very heavily in this ball. And I had never been before, and this year my dad asked me if I wanted to go, and he said, okay, I'm gonna get 3 tickets from your uncle for you guys. And I would have expected him to say 2 tickets. Even in 2022, I would have expected him to say that, but he didn't. He said, I'll get you 3 tickets.
Yes, he did.
And we were able to go, the 3 of us, and all of New Orleans is there, like all of the family, all of the people we grew up with, and it is normal. That is who we are.
Yeah. So thank you, Pierre.
Thank you, Grandpere.
That's right, Grandpere. We're gonna drop them grandkids off pipe.
I love it. So I think for the timeline-wise, I always like to bring us back to a timeline. We talked about Jeff having basically been a member of the family for over 17 years when we did finally, come out of the closet. And then from 2015, which is when we actually had our ceremony, until 2022 is when we had our first 2 instances of Letitia's, each of her parents.
Yeah.
It just happened this year, 2022. And so that was 7 years of getting right? And so that navigation was really tough in the, first 1 to 2 years. Then it felt very neutralized. It was very normal that I was where I was. It wasn't really uncomfortable. And then we got to just like a better place where I felt like I'm a part of the family. I didn't feel anything different when we did, like even the vacation in Florida, which was last year. Mm-hmm. When we all got a big house and we all shared the house. And so I felt at that point,
I said it was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun. And I felt like at that point, like everything was normal. But so for this year to have that type of introduction from my mother-in-law and to have that type of invitation from my father-in-law, it was very special. And it felt very much like, okay, here we are.
So we were in Vegas for my sister's wedding last month. And we're leaving, she got married in the desert. We're leaving the desert on the bus, going back to the hotel. And my dad is silly. He ribs, he's silly. So Heather had a flower crown or something in her hair. And he would not leave her alone. He kept saying, Heather, you got something growing back there. I mean, like every 5 minutes. And it made me giggle because that's one of the ways he shows love. Like, he ribs you. He messes with you. And it annoyed her so bad.
So good. Ooh, did he love me on that whole bus ride home.
She finally took it out so that he would stop.
And then he said, Heather, you had something growing out of your head.
Right. And then T's mom later was like, I swear if he'd have said something one more time, I was going to tell him something.
Yeah, so navigating it really consisted of a lot of time, a lot of patience. And it took a lot of accepting people's insecurity and realizing that what they're going through have nothing to do with us. And not allowing those things to be taken personal and then allowing it to fester into this unhealthy situation that we wouldn't be able to escape.
Yeah.
Right? Because we were talking about family. So, we took our time, we were patient with people for them to come around, and we lived our life out loud.
Yeah, we did.
We've done so much together, and people have seen us so many times, the 3 of us, the 2 of us, the 2 of them, that we're accepted citywide. But we didn't get there overnight. It took time, and it took us being courageous, And it took
inconsistent.
Yeah.
Yes.
We kept doing the same things over and over again.
Yeah.
That's
And
correct.
you really touched on recognizing people's insecurities, but the other piece is really not taking it personal. We were I took a lot of stuff personal in the beginning. Let's be clear.
Yeah.
Took a lot of stuff personal.
Yeah.
That's the wrong way to go.
Yeah.
So moving into a place of confidence within ourselves and really not taking other people's issues personally and instead just remaining in our truth and really remaining unbothered, it kind of helps people to get on track because they really have to do their own excavation for themselves.
That's correct. Because you can show somebody the door, but they got to walk through it.
Yeah.
Right?
Y'all, thank you so much for tuning in to hear how our family dynamics have changed and to really hopefully take away that time, patience, not taking things personally, living in your own personal truth that's the best advice we can give for navigating challenging family dynamics.
That's right. Live out loud.
To our family, we love you
you.
guys. Bye, y'all. I'll try Pie Fam too.